There he is.
I'm here. I made it.
It's like magic. How are you, man?
I'm good. I'm very excited to talk to you. I've been loving doing these live streams and talking to everybody, and weekly. It seems like weekly updates on what's going on in my life and talking to new people and what's going on in theirs. I love it.
Yeah. Where are you right now in the world?
I am in Cleveland, Ohio, working for a week with my buddy John out here on some new music.
Oh, cool. So, who's your buddy John? Do we know him?
I do not believe. No, I mean he's a friend that I met on tour. He is front of house for a band called Twisted, which you may know, being from
my friends,
Detroit.
Of course, yeah.
Being from Detroit, so we met on Warped Tour and kind of connected musically, and then started working together on the last record and did some really cool stuff together. So I'm out here again using this time to keep the machine moving.
Yeah, there you go. That's cool. Yeah, it is a crazy time for sure, you know. And speaking of Detroit, one of the things I wanted to ask you about was touring with Alice Cooper. I'm going to be talking to Alice later on today, and I know you got to go on stage with this thing, School's Out. I mean, that must have been like a career highlight.
It was. It would definitely go down as top 10. I mean, I don't want to say top 5 yet since we're not done, but I'm going to break away from your question just to share a fun fact about Detroit and Alice Cooper of Link. We did that show with him at the amphitheater in Detroit, and it got there was a storm that rolled through, and our set got cut because of the rain and the storm. But our Detroit fans, or in Detroit in general, are so good to us. We sold more merch that day, not even playing, than we did the whole rest of the tour on days where we did play. It was insane. So thank you, Detroit.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that it was pretty miserable. I think that was during the week, and I was here at the station or whatever. But that must have been exciting just to tour with Alice in general.
It was unreal, man. The coolest part for me was, we've toured with so many different bands of all different sizes, artists of all different sizes, and it always seems that the older veterans like Alice and other bands like that are the nicest, most welcoming people. He was just he would knock on our door and say what's up. He invited us to parties with the whole tour. It felt like such a family vibe, and I think that's what was the shining moment of the tour for us, seeing how welcoming he was of a band like us, just coming in, being a part of his world.
Yeah, people ask me all the time, they're like, who are some of the best interviews you ever do? And I always say it's guys like Alice Cooper and that, because they've heard everything. You can't surprise them with anything.
Oh, yeah.
So they've been around.
He, when we first met him, he started talking about, the first day we did meet him was at that Detroit show, and he was talking about his early days in Detroit and just show memories and life memories. And it was just like, man, this guy is a hardcore legend, and I can't believe I'm just hearing him just share these stories, just like it's whatever. It was awesome.
Yeah, of course. He told you about the Hollywood Vampires thing, right? With all the celebrities he used to drink with back in the day. I'm sure you've heard those stories.
Oh yeah, he was very awesome, very very storytelling, and just such a great guy to be around.
So, do you know the Twisted guys?
Yeah, they're awesome. We met them on Warped Tour in 2018.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
They were so cool, and just I think a lot of people go into that band or into the world, the Juggalo world, with this preconceived notion of how they're going to be as people, and then you're proved so wrong all the time. I just went in with an open mind, I want to meet these guys. I have friends that they're friends with, and they always speak highly of them, and they were so cool and so nice. We got along. We did a tour together. We did some Halloween shows together, and yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah, I remember those guys telling me, because they're so great, the Twisted guys and their crew are so awesome, George and all those guys, and it's they told me that tour, that Warped Tour, for them at least anyways, was so rewarding for them because of guys like you and because of bands like you that just kind of accepted them and let them do their thing and kind of proved them wrong. Like you said, it's kind of cool like that.
Yeah, I think, it kind of goes back to that mentality of you're the new kid at school, and there's going to be that other weird kid that you're going to kind of find from across the room. And I feel like us and Twisted were those weird kids that don't really fit don't really fit aesthetically on Warped Tour as well as other bands do. And we saw each other and we're just like, let's be friends. And it worked out great.
Yeah. So what did you guys have lined up for this year? I'm sure tours and festival dates, all kinds of stuff, right?
Yeah, we were supposed to do a tour that we would have been on right now in the spring throughout the U.S., and then we were supposed to do all the big festivals in Europe, like Download and Rock am Ring and stuff like that, and then that got canceled, and just kind of like one by one, all these things get pushed back or canceled. So that would have been our year. And then we were working on some stuff for the fall that was going to be like I think special stuff for our fans that we were going to base around Halloween and whatnot, but we have no idea what can or can't happen now. So we're just we totally shifted the whole operation over to just working on music and just waiting it out like everybody else, you know?
Now, before we get into some music that you're working on, I mean, it's funny because, like I said, I'm talking to Alice Cooper tonight. I've talked to him a bunch of times, but I'm just a small town kid from Western New York, who's been here in Detroit for 25 years. You're just a small town kid from mid-state Pennsylvania, practically, and you're talking about playing Rock am Ring and stuff. I mean, that's gotta be mind-blowing sometimes.
Dude, it's wild. I mean, how awesome does it feel for you? Like, you get to speak to Alice Cooper and just one-on-one and just hang out. Like, it's the same feeling, like you go anywhere in the world, in our case, like what you're saying, going to play Rock am Ring in Germany or going to play wherever, whenever. It's just so cool to see that people want to see you in these territories, and that you can have a career that allows you to go over there and make or create a solid fan base that wants you back and just feel that love around the world. Being an American band, I don't know. It's never been something I could put into words, but we're very grateful.
Yeah, when I was a kid watching Alice Cooper get his head lopped off at a show in a Kobo on MTV's Halloween night, and now here I am in town talking to Alice and doing all this stuff that, for the last 25 years, half of my life practically. It's just mind blowing. What do your parents think?
Oh man, my mom's kind of quiet about it, but I think she's definitely really proud of everything. She's such a sweet person, always supportive. My dad loves now, like, he'll come out to shows and he just walks around like he's part of the whole crew, and he just gets into it. Like, he acts like he's just part of the world and part of this whole world and fits right in. Like, there's no starstruck moments for him. He's just like, yeah, cool. All right, I'm here. Let's hang out. Let's do that. I'm gonna walk on the bus, walk off the bus, walk backstage while whoever's playing, and he just gets into it and really enjoys it. So I think he gets to kind of live the life a little bit through us, and it's funny to see like how he just fits right in. Now
I take it you probably didn't grow up in a house full of touring musicians, right?
No, I did not. I'm the only member of my family that plays an instrument. I didn't come from a musical family or background or anything. They're big musical listeners, but not players of anything or singers or anything. So I just kind of, in high school, my life just took a turn where music became like the only thing that I cared about and have cared about since.
All right, so I can name my turn. It was hearing Crazy Train for the first time. So what was yours?
Oh, the Black Album, for sure.
Okay.
Soon as I heard, I listened to bands that were a little bit more like rock or alternative. Like, I remember listening to bands like No Doubt that had guitars and some metal riffs here and there and stuff, and I used to be into them. But that was just kind of like, yeah, I like this. I'm a listener of this. And then I was introduced to the Black Album, and that just changed my life, man. I was just like, get me a guitar. I'm going to learn every song. And, I probably spent a couple years of my life just obsessing over learning every Metallica song ever. And it was kind of just it for me with that.
So have you ever had a chance to tell those guys that or meet them or anything?
No, I've actually never been able to meet them. We were supposed to do Welcome to Rockville in Jacksonville this year with them. I was so excited to have a chance to possibly walk by and be like, hey, nice to meet you. But it sadly got canceled, and hopefully we'll have another chance at some point. But fun story, going back to my dad that you asked earlier, we did a Halloween show in Philadelphia a few years back, and we covered Enter Sandman and had my dad come up and sing it with us. He wore this like crazy long black metal wig, and it was awesome. He loved it.
So I'm assuming as a kid you discover Metallica and stuff, and then at some point, I'm just thinking out loud, and I'm sure you probably talked about this before, but you had to take that dive down that Nine Inch Nails road, didn't you?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think once the Metallica struck, it was like floodgates opened up. Right. It was like I need to know everything that I could possibly know in this world. It, went from that to Misfits and punk to hardcore to metal to hard rock, everywhere in between. I just became infatuated, and Nine Inch Nails definitely a big one, Manson a big one, Rob Zombie, all the bands in that industrial world were huge and still are very influential to our band.
Yeah, no doubt. Those are some of my favorites as well. I remember hearing Nine Inch Nails for the first time thinking, I don't really get this, but of course as time gone on, I became infatuated with it too. It's just so good, that Nine Inch Nails and Manson and stuff like you just mentioned. That's kind of in my wheelhouse as well. I remember playing Thunder Kiss 65 for the first time on the radio, and people didn't really get it. And I talked to Rob about this years later, and it's like, Beavis and Butthead actually made that song because nobody was playing it. And all of a sudden Beavis and Butthead watched it on a video, and it became a huge success.
You know what's crazy to me? I wonder how many people in these comments even know who Beavis and Butthead are. It's like we're of another generation, I think. I don't know if Beavis and Butthead are globally known still to this day, but I remember, I think I heard Green Day for the first time on Beavis and Butthead. I remember they played Basket Case, and I was like, I think I've heard this song before. This band's great, and it's so cool to have had two cartoon characters introduce people to so many bands.
Yeah, right off the top of my head, I just remember Danzig's mother was one. They watched that video one time too. But So you had a pretty big 2019. Tell me about playing in the Grand Ole Opry. What was that all about?
That was on the Alice Cooper tour. So like it just added to that whole just what is happening in my life right now. We're on tour with Alice Cooper. This is such a legendary artist to be on tour with. And then we're going to play perhaps one of the most iconic venues in the entire country or world. We did the Opry, and I think it just kind of like was over before it even began for me. Like I went out there, and I actually flew again to touch back on my dad. I flew my dad and his girlfriend out, and they hung out. We did like the whole Nashville day for a while before that. I love Nashville. And just, I don't know, man, it was odd. It was so cool to walk backstage and see all the icons of country have their plaques on the wall and their photos on the wall, and just see the history of that venue. It's wild. So you can definitely feel the energy in there. And it was so amazing to be on that stage and think like, wow, I've watched the Grand Ole Opry with my grandfather as a kid, and here I am standing on this stage. It was wild.
And then we were talking earlier about, just being a kid from Scranton, Pennsylvania, playing all over the world. Then you guys get to play in Russia too?
Yeah, we did Russia for the first time this past year, and just I thank you for bringing up all these really nice moments to talk about. It was awesome. Like we weren't sure what to expect because we had not played there, and we knew that people wanted to see us, but it's kind of tough to gauge when you're only looking at the internet and Twitter and whatnot, when people are saying like, oh, come to this place, come to that place. You can't get a full sense of what it's going to be like. So it's kind of a risk when you go out there. And we're just like, no, it's time. It's been long enough. We have to go to Russia. Let's do it. And we did. And it was insane. Like, it was amazing. I cannot wait to go back. I can't promise anything to any Russian fans that are watching. I see a couple Russian flags popping up, but we're already talking about the next time, hopefully sometime next year or the year after. As soon as possible, we want to be back.
Now, is there any different kind of protocol or anything different you guys have to do when you go to a country like Russia, or is it pretty much the same as anywhere else in the world?
It's a little different because like you have to get like the work visas, and you have to get all the prep to go there lined up first. I think, I don't know if it's different if you go there as a tourist or if you're going there to work, but you need work visas. You need all the different things that are so expensive and time consuming to prep to go over there. Then you go over there and you have to source all your gear. You have to find, your lodging, transportation, all that stuff is, and thankfully we have a great tour manager and a manager that we have that do that kind of stuff, and they're great and makes our lives so much easier. It's just awesome to get to see each person do their best at their job, and it's such a great operation that we have. So it's quite easy, but it can be complicated. We just showed up and went to our hotel, played the shows in and out, and it was great.
Yeah. How many shows did you do over there?
We did two. We did Moscow and St. Petersburg. And I think if we go back again, we'll definitely do those and see if we could extend into another city or hit, like the Ukraine or somewhere else on the way out. So we're getting that, far Eastern Europe and Western Russia stops in there wherever we can.
Now, was that a headlining tour for you guys?
Yeah, we did. We wanted to make like a pretty big impact. We're like, if we're going to go over there, we want to do the headlining shows. We want to do it right. And we've done many tours where the first time that we've gone over to places are the headliners. And it's just like kind of an effort to be like, we're just going to go in head first and just do our thing and give people our show that we want to give, and not rely on being support for somebody and only playing for 30 minutes for the first time in a foreign country. That feels wrong. You want to go out there and give the fans your set. So, yeah.
Especially if you were on your first album, that'd be one thing, but you guys have a bunch of albums under your belt, so you can do a full set and headline.
Totally.
Stuff, so.
Totally. Yeah.
So the record came out last year in June, and you were just talking about music. So you're working with your buddy John. Here's what I don't understand: when you're working with your friend John, where's that line? Like, it's like when Corey Taylor, like, does he work on something and go, man, this would really be good for Stone Sour or Slipknot? Like, when you're working with your friend John, do you say, I'm not going to give him this because this is good, and I'm going to keep this for Motionless? Or how does that work?
Well, we're actually working on music for Motionless.
Okay.
Yeah, since a lot of the guys are working on stuff by themselves. Like I know Justin and Ricky are working on tracks for the band separately. I work separately, but then I also have friends that I like to work with that really do like special stuff, unique things towards their own production that I like to work with. And for me, it's always more fun and enjoyable to work with people that you get along with and connect with, rather than just kind of sitting by yourself all the time. So I travel all over the country and just work with friends. I think music is a great way to bring people together, and especially right now where people need that. For my friends that do feel comfortable with not keeping me at a 6 feet apart distance and want to work, then I'm going to travel to them. And that's what we're doing here. So we've got one song done so far since I've been here. We have a bunch of songs in the bank from previous days working with other people, and each one of us separately, and we're just going to keep working until we have a ton of songs to pick from for the new record.
All right. Okay. Yeah. And I was telling you when you said earlier, I thought you were working on a project for your friend John or something else. So you guys are working together. So I talked to Brent Smith the other day, and he kind of said when they go in to record, they kind of go in there with an empty slate. But you guys, it sounds like you guys go in there pretty much knowing what you're going to do. You guys have like stuff already in the can, already demoed out or whatever.
Totally. We have done the kind of empty, just going into the studio. Our second record, we went in kind of with nothing or very, very few ideas, and it's just not how we like to work. We want to have the time to separately go over, as a band or individually, go over the music that we're working on and bring that to a studio and feel like we're not just sitting there wasting our time or having days just burn away in the studio of trial and error on just writing songs. We like to go in there with something more substantial and feel like we're getting, it's not cheap to travel out of your hometown. It costs a lot to live somewhere else where a studio is, never mind the studio cost itself. So it's a financial decision as well as just a mental decision to not just be burning yourself out day by day in the studio, trying to get stuff done under a deadline. We like to just work at our own pace, go into the studio, and then kind of continue it from there.
So, do you feel it with this break and stuff? Is it giving you any added inspiration, or is it pretty much the same, or what?
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize how internally angry I am at missing the shows and the tours that we're missing, because everything I'm working on kind of has this really aggressive edge. I'm just like, I know our fans really enjoy our songs like Another Life and the more kind of laid back or emotional tracks, which there will be those as well. But everything I'm doing myself lately has kind of been heavier, and I'm just like, where is this coming from? I know that I'm a quietly or somewhat quietly angry person, but it's really coming out in the stuff I've been working on. So we'll see what happens. I know there's going to be a mix like there always is, but yeah.
No, that seems to be interesting, because every person I've talked to, they've got like a different take on how they're working through this time. And it sounds like, as far as the bands I've talked to, you guys are further along with recording, or at least getting a record put together more than anyone I've talked to.
I think it's at least for me personally, like I have to be working. Like I can't stand the feeling of sitting around, and I certainly like to relax and take some time off, but if I know that we were supposed to be on tour right now and now we're not, I have to be working on something or I'll just lose my goddamn mind. So as soon as I knew that the touring was going to kind of fall away and be on hold for a while, I was like, well, going to completely shift into working on new music mode, and I've just been going at that nonstop, and I know the other guys are as well, and we're just, I don't know when we're going to record or when we're going to say like, okay, we're done writing. I think we're probably going to wait until we have a lot in the bank to choose from and then go from there. But I just like that we're utilizing the time logically and making the best out of it instead of just kind of letting it burn away and do nothing.
Now, are you guys emailing each other with the ideas, like with demo strips? Is that how that works?
Yeah. We that's actually how, I mean, quarantine or not, that's typically how we work anyway.
Oh, okay.
We like to not come together entirely until the very end of the process. Like we all work better individually or with friends, and then come together in the end and either jam out some ideas or have conversations about what we have and say like, this song feels great for this song, maybe not for this record, maybe another record, or no, it's just trash, let's throw it away and start again. And it's cool to have that, because it feels like everyone gets their moment to have their personal space. Then we come together and we already have tons of stuff. It takes a ton of anxiety out of everyone to not feel like we're all together now let's just start from scratch. It just feels so much better when you come together with material and have that to work from. It's just how we work best.
And I would have to imagine that, emailing stuff back and forth, you have to get ideas and stuff from the other guys and vice versa as they're passing this back and forth.
Totally, yeah. But it's crazy how it works. I've always said this about our guys. It's like, for some reason, it always works where, like, let's say I have a song started and I get stuck on a part and I'm like, I can't think of a chorus or a bridge for the song. It typically is like I'm almost, I would say 9 out of 10 times I'll send it to one of those guys, and then they'll send back a complete song. I'm just like, how did you? And, that's another great thing about it is like when you are working on one song, whether you're doing it yourself or together, you can kind of get that tunnel vision where you get stuck in that. I don't know what to do. But if someone is hearing a song for the first time with fresh ears, and you're saying, hey, do you have any ideas for a bridge or a chorus for this? They're hearing it for the first time going off of that. And it's kind of a magical place to be in writing, because you don't have that tunnel vision. And that's why those guys come out of nowhere and, complete tracks that I send with some really wonderful ideas and vice versa. It's a great way to work. And that's just over 12 years of writing stuff together, or 10 years since our first full-length record came out. We just discovered that's how we work best.
But obviously, like, you're the last man standing, so this really means a lot to you, right?
This is for better or worse, and how my life has gone since this became a thing. This is what I live and breathe. It is all I care about, and I say for better or worse because other areas of my life have unfortunately suffered due to my commitment to this. But it's I don't know, man. My greatest sense of purpose and existence comes from what I do with this band and the music that we make and the voice that it allows me to have. And I don't know, I can't really put it into words. So yeah, I'm happy to be here.
It's passion. It's passion. You got the passion for it, So
absolutely, yes.
Hey, a couple final quick things here for you, then we'll let you loose. And we really do appreciate the time. It's been really nice talking to you. Obviously being from Scranton, people have to ask you about The Office all the time, right?
Hell yeah. Yep.
Are you a fan at all?
Oh yeah, I'm a mega fan. I try, like, we've done, I don't know how to word this. We've done Office merch. We have a shirt that says Motionless and Dwight on it. We've done all kinds of stuff that really let fans know, like we love the show. We're from Scranton. It just feels like fun stuff for fans to have that also like The Office. And it is definitely the number one thing that gets brought up when people hear that we're from Scranton, for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. And final thing here for you. I was just at my son's girlfriend's house a couple of weeks back or whatever, and I was talking with her parents, and the mom says, we've never seen Spinal Tap before. And I'm like, you've never seen Spinal Tap? So I'm sure you guys have seen it, and you probably get asked this question a bunch of times too, but give us like a Spinal Tap moment in your life.
Oh, man. I love this question because I feel like we have a lot of just like weird moments that I think like, man, how did this happen? I think we've never like showed up to the wrong stage or anything that I can remember. We've had gear shipped to the wrong area. Like we've shown up to places and our gear is just not there. Just different moments where it's just like, well, great. I think, I don't know. I can't think of anything right offhand. I'm sorry.
You'll think of about 18 of them later, right?
Of course, yeah. I think I always kind of resort back to this one as a fun story because it's just like, of course that would happen. And I think our fans will know this one well, but since you might not, our tour manager one time thought it would be funny to try to take our water bottles on stage and glue the caps shut on my water bottles. Of course, not realizing that I have Hulk-like strength and could bust through any super glue barrier at any time. So, we're on stage and I turn around and unscrew the water bottle unknowingly that it had super glue all over it and went to take a drink and I was like I spit it out. I was like, what is going on? Did I just drink poison? And I look over and I see him on the side of the stage just like, oh my God. So I find out later that he tried to do that and I ended up drinking super glue and gluing my lips shut. So that's I don't know if it's quite Spinal Tap, but it's up there for us.
Well, at least you're not on the billboard, I suppose, of the puppet show, right? That's, nothing like that.
No. Yeah. So, we've been able to streak by stuff like that.
Well, listen, give your friend John our best, and of course, the Twisted guys, man, such good guys right there, and it's really been great talking to you. Hopefully, we'll see you on the road here soon enough. Maybe some new material, maybe by the end of the year. You're saying, or?
I think we'll be trying to get some, like at least a new song out by the end of the year. But I don't want to. I just hope nobody holds me to that. We're just gonna keep writing. What happens. It might be early next year. I don't know. Yeah, these questions were awesome. Thank you for wanting to go beneath the surface. I like that.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time, man. Next time you come through Detroit, we'll have to get together and have a cocktail or something.
Yeah, I'll hopefully see you sooner than later. Oh yeah.
Yeah, right. Exactly. There you go. Yeah. All right, Chris. Thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Have a good one.
Be safe, man.
Bye.